and we are here to help you navigate the tricky waters of entrepreneurship. Clay, it's been a while since we've been in the studio.
Yeah,
we have another baby or something?
Well, we've had some speaking events and lots of travels, and my wife and I went to Louisville, Kentucky to DJ for a wedding reception. So that was kind of fun. So
very cool.
And I also want to clarify for the viewers of this, my son does think his hat is a helmet.
That's true.
I just want to point that out. Okay.
Well, today we're talking about goals and vision, and actually where this all kind of spawned from is the Bible has something pretty incredible to say about this. Proverbs 29:18 says, "Where there is no vision, the people perish." And talking about goals, Clay, when you lay out your goals, you lay them out in blocks. You do 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. What do you do?
I usually will lay them out in like a 6-month interval. And what my biggest problem is, and everyone watching me, one thing that's great about teaching this is that like I live it, I do it. You know, my biggest problem I'll have is that I'll lay out a goal, and then once I get to that goal, I have to, if I'm not ambitious enough to think of another goal, once I reach that goal, you'll get complacent for a while. And I think when there's complacent, that's where you start to see the people perish. So for me, I lay them out like in 6-month blocks usually. But I think really what is important is to be able to translate your 6-month block into a daily block. And I think that's the biggest struggle with the big areas of your life, is to be able to turn them all into a daily block. You know what I mean? Because you have a 6-month goal to get in shape, but on the daily, what are you going to do? And I think sometimes the big goal where it meets the daily detail, that's where the stuff either happens or doesn't happen.
If you would mind, give us an example of what the 6-month goal would be, and then how you trim that back to the daily to-do list.
All right. Right now, I really like this idea of moving into a bunker. You know, if you can't see this office, I know it's hard to see sometimes, but we are in an office where it's got like concrete floors, we got exposed rafters and all that, and I've discovered that like I like that. Like I like it as like a place to live. I like that kind of environment, and I don't really like neighbors. You know, I don't like neighbors because most of my neighbors aren't entrepreneurs, and that's the only people I like to hang out with. So it's kind of a deal where I put in my mind, I'm like, I am going to buy and renovate a bunker kind of place. Like I want to buy like a building, retrofit it, make it cool, make it livable, but I want to like live in a spaghetti warehouse environment. So that's kind of a goal ahead. So now it's like, okay, so, and this is literally as far as my goal. So now I've got a deal where I'm like, okay, one, how much is it going to cost to renovate it and everything? I'm thinking, well, it's probably going to cost about 80 grand to do this thing. So I'm like, okay, how many weeks will that take to do that? And then how do I, and I just look at my spending and I'm like, well, I redirect this here, and I start putting, and so now what I'm looking at is I'm going through the performance of all the different businesses and all the ventures I have and everything, and looking at like what's a realistic time frame, and so I'm starting to put together a daily goal as far as what I need to save per day in order to turn a bunker into a house.
Wow, that's a different kind of goal, but
well, I'll tell you
nonetheless.
I'll tell you that I think it's kind of crazy, but there is somebody that I know who has a big wedding facility. It's beautiful. It's kind of a lakeside thing in the Jinx area, and their house is like a bunker. But when you go inside, it's magical inside. It looks awesome, you know, but it's beautiful inside, and is surrounded by trees and everything. But they're not paying tons of money for the exterior of a house that they really don't. You know, that's what a lot of your house payment comes from, is these big exteriors and facades and paying for neighborhood dues and city taxes and all that. I'd prefer to be kind of off the grid and being a little like Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's awesome.
Next question here is, what is the overall vision you have for your life? And this is something that it's somewhat of a, not a rhetorical question, but for you to answer for yourself, for all of you out there watching. What is the overall vision you have for your life? What is the ideal lifestyle that you want to live? And then how do you break that down? Clay, what would you say is your overall?
I think for me specifically, and for anybody watching this, you've got to put down your lifestyle as your number one thing. So you have a lifestyle goal. I have a lifestyle goal. Just to give you an example, I know a buddy who loves to travel to Africa for missions. That's like his thing. He loves going to Africa. He loves going to South America. He loves going to, like, he went to the Himalayas, you know, and that's what he likes to do. And for me, you know, I like to go to Dallas, and I like to go to Austin, and I like to watch, you know, so there's certain things we have different goals. So for him, his whole lifestyle is built upon, I need to find a job that gives me crazy amounts of vacation time if I work hard so that I can travel. So for him, owning his own company, that wouldn't be possible. For me, I like to be off on Sundays. I like to be off during the evenings with the kids. I like to have time to work out. And I like to be able to go on a date with my wife once a week. And then beyond that, like I like working for the sake of work. I enjoy it. So for me, like I like to set up a schedule that allows me to do that. You know? So I think the big thing for everyone watching this is you have to have a lifestyle goal. And as far as like the big goal, like at the end of the day, I would just hope that everybody that I've worked with could say that I've handled everything in an honorable way, and that we over-deliver and add value to our customers' lives. Because our DJ company, I love getting references and where people say, whoa, that was phenomenal. And we had a couple we just shot their video and did photos for. And these people, when they got their photos and video back, he lives in Australia now. They're moving to Australia. And they were a couple that was living in Georgia and stuff before the wedding. We didn't get to spend a lot of time with them before. And they were kind of a little doubtful, a little scared about going into the wedding. And I like, after they see their products, to go, wow, that was awesome. And I live for those thank you cards, those I like to add value to people's lives. So, at the end of the day, I have my lifestyle goals, and I like to wow people, add value, and make sure it's a series of mutually beneficial relationships.
So there you have it. Make sure you're setting goals for your life. Once again, that verse in Proverbs, it's Proverbs 29:18, where there is no vision, the people perish. Make sure you're setting goals. Make sure you're breaking that down in the daily so that you're actually reaching towards those goals. Clay, 30-second send-off. What do you have for us?
So this is preaching. I just want to encourage everybody here that today is the day that you can either start one step forward up that mountain, or it's a day where you can put it off again and you kind of get depressed or frustrated. Or I just want to encourage you, you've got to make sure that you look at what you're doing today and next day. Is this sustainable? Is this what I want to do? And view your life with a sense of urgency. View it as though you really only had 1 year left to live. What's your 1 year vision? What is that? And just start right there and start living with that sense of urgency, and things will happen.
So there you have it. If you have any questions, you can email Clay directly at clay@makeyourlifeepic.com. You can always comment on our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, and that's all we've got for you today. We'll see you next time.
You can start living a life of abundance and start pursuing your dreams right now. All you need to do is contrast where you want to be versus where you are, and we're going to teach you the action steps to get there starting right now.